Hey guys, subscribe for daily content. And if you're shopping for gear, make sure you check out the description for the newest items at some of the very best online retailers. There's also links for some of the items that I personally recommend. Thanks! What's going on YouTube? Metal Complex here, and today I've got another interesting knife review / knife overview to show with you guys. This is the Kizer Militaw, designed by a gentleman named Jonathan Stiles. I'm unfamiliar with Mr. Stiles, but I wanted to make sure and get the designer's name out there. Thanks so much to Kizer for sending this knife in for review. Thanks to my patrons for supporting me. And please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. This knife is available. It's also got a really, really great price tag on it, considering the materials. And honestly, this feels like maybe Kizer stepped it up a notch, or maybe this particular design just translated better. But boy, this is a nice one. I was really shocked to see the price. So I'll have this linked right down below. You guys can check it out if you want to. It does help my channel if you use those links before you buy something, but that's entirely up to you. Okay, we already did the intro, so let's go ahead and get measured here. I'm going to try to speed through the specs as fast as possible. Overall length is coming in about 7.85 inches. Blade length, I'm going to call that 3.35. Cutting edge is about 3 1/4. Size comparisons up against the Ontario Rat Model 1. Let me straighten this guy out. There we go. And the Ontario Rat Model 2. You can see here that it's kind of right in between, but it has more of the height and presence of the Rat 2. How about up against the Demco AD 20.5? Very similar in overall size and length to the AD 20.5. How about up against the Spyderco Para 3 and the Spyderco, where are you? There you are, PM2. Kind of in between, closer to the size of the PM2. And then last but not least, let's put it up against the Benchmade Griptilianer, the Benchmade Bug Out, and the Benchmade Griptilianer, in this case, the Ritter Hope. Very, very similar in overall length to the Ritter Hope, just a little shorter. How's the action on this guy? Kizer knives are made in China. They have, I think forever been known as like a good value brand that, they keep up with materials and quality and things like that, but they always offer a really good price tag, for what you're getting. And the execution of these materials has always been pretty good, but that's kind of where they get outshined by their competitors, in my opinion. Not here. Wow. Especially in the action department. Holy crap. Look at this. That's beautiful. I don't think I've ever handled a Kizer where the action was that good. They've always had good action, but man, this is good. I also like this big triangle sort of slot right here in the blade. There's plenty of access to do your reverse flick, plenty of access to, flick it out like that, or you can just wheel it out, right? Access to the lock bar is spectacular. Look at this. That is fantastic. I can't stand it when they cut the show side scale flush with the lock bar, because then you gotta smush your thumb in there to disengage. This is beautiful. Beautifully easy to disengage. It's just, when all of those elements come together, it really does make a difference, right? A lot of people are, how much difference could that make? You knife enthusiasts just get so nitpicky with the tiniest. Because the first time you experience it, the first time you really get a feel for what makes it that much better, you'll never go back. You'll say this type of stuff over and over and over again until you feel it for yourself, and then you'll go, oh, well, I guess they were right. Good thing you don't have to come back and admit that to us. It's okay. We know. We know we're right. This is a great example of all of those things coming together and just working. The positioning of the hole, the size of the hole, right? And the access to the lock bar. The detent strength also, I think, is tuned very, very well. It's also clicky. The knife is clicky and it feels good. So yeah, I gotta credit the designer there, because oftentimes that is usually the case. There's a static manufacturing quality that's going to be applied to these things, but sometimes the design just translates better. I don't want to rule out Kizer getting better at their craft, though. I think that they have. This just feels, for some reason, substantially better than a lot of Kizers that I've handled before. So, action good is the basic, the TLDR. Let's go ahead and do carry profile thickness up against the Spyderco Para 3. It's a little thicker, not bad. These scales are also slightly contoured, by the way, which is a really nice touch. Length and height up against the PM2 and Para 3. It's basically just a long rectangle, a rounded, a soft rectangle. A little longer than the Para 3, definitely shorter than the PM2, nowhere near as tall as either. In and out of the pocket, I mean, the pocket experience is very good. Let's go ahead and weigh it. Materials. We have, where are you there, big guy? S35VN, which I don't have a problem with. In fact, I prefer over M390/20CV/204P, which are all essentially the exact same composition if you did not know. Just made by 3 different companies, Bowler, Carpenter, and Crucible. Not in that particular order. I just prefer the balance of S35VN more. So I don't really care if there's this weird, ill-defined perceived value of M390 and it's just blind over S35VN. I always try to make this point. Don't put so much stock into that. I think the balance of S35VN is better, and I think Kizer does a pretty good heat treat on the stuff. Let's go ahead and weigh it. Oh yeah, we have titanium, blasted titanium, and micarta inlays. There is, I believe, a little bit of weight reduction. Yeah, just a little bit. They just did some holes there. So weight, let's say, I'm going to guess, say 4 1/4. No, I'm wrong. 3.92. Not bad. Not perfect ratios, but not bad at all. Let's go ahead and do a hardware check. I'm going to get my tools out. As per usual, my tools are very inexpensive and very recommendable. You can find them right down in the section of my description that talks about the tools I use in this channel. Do my eyes deceive me, or do we have, this is a T8 bit. Do we have T8 across the board here? Am I wrong but in remembering that every Kizer I've ever handled has been T6? These are all T8. Maybe they've had a few, but I could have sworn. Either way, we got a lot of screws here, but they're holding in the inlays. I would rather have excess T8 screws than minimal T6 screws. I hate T6. If you didn't know this, if I haven't made it abundantly clear in the nearly 3,700 uploads I've done on this channel, I hate T6 screws. I hate them. Oh, I hate them almost as much as I hate coleslaw. I hate them as much as I hate coleslaw. As far as I'm concerned, hell is full of T6 screws and coleslaw. And it's not a place I wish to go. These are T8, and I think that's great. We have just a couple of standoffs. We got 4 T8 screws on each side, the T8 pocket clip screw. Honestly, really simple construction. Should be very, very easy to take apart and maintain, so I appreciate that. Let's go ahead and measure the blade stock thickness, which I am going to take a guess at and say that it's 130 thousandths, but I'm usually wrong when it comes to blade stock thickness, so let's see. I'm extremely wrong. It's 115 thousandths. It's hard. It's hard to judge it. Don't get after me, huh? Oops, I got the background there. This expensive leather background, it's fake. It's vinyl upholstery. It's imitation leather, if you didn't know. Let's go ahead and move to the meat and potatoes. I like how this looks. It's not the first knife to, have this exact profile, but there's enough here that it gives it a little bit of character. And really what makes it stand out is the thing that you guys cannot experience by, just by watching, but you can hear it. The disengagement of the lock bar, the click of the detent, the snap of the action, right? The smoothness of the blade. It's all there. It feels fantastic. This is just a really fantastic feeling knife. This deep initial choil area is very, it's comfortable. It's not perfect, but it's comfortable. I don't feel crammed into one area. Wherever I want to hold, it feels comfortable. The edges are just beautiful. They're almost radiused, right? Pocket clip is knocked down. They took extra care to knock those corners down. I can tell at one point this pocket clip was sharp and they're like, no, knock that down. They did. Simple clip, right? They definitely missed an obvious opportunity, since this is a symmetrical clip, to mill out a spot so that lefties can carry this knife as a left-handed person. It wouldn't have been that big of a deal. I like how this looks, but this knife is not so designy and beautiful that the aesthetic would have been reduced by a slight area right here milled in so that this pocket clip could nest the way that it is on the right-hand side. So that was a missed opportunity there. Lefties would definitely have enjoyed carrying this. The front flipper works really well too. It's a snappy front flipper, right? It's kind of a fidgety knife, but when it comes down to it, using this is going to be a joy. It's a flat ground blade. We've got a little bit of a flat that carries out maybe 45% of the length of the blade, a little swedge, but largely a traditional utilitarian blade shape. It's also got Kizer's beautiful, still one of the best in this territory, Kizer's tumbled finish. If you're a designer, an OEM, right, whoever, and you're like, I want a good example of a tumbled finish on a knife that, it lands in a tier that's not wildly expensive. Kizer just does it, man. They do it right. It looks so good. It's crazy to me how, so many companies, it seems like they try to do this and they just can't do it the same way, right? There are other companies who get it done, but Kizer, I feel like just for the money, they're plain tumbled finish with the semi-reflectivity. It just looks good. This is going to wear in really well. Couples well with S35N, which is already a stainless composition, so this extra polish is definitely going to help resist additional corrosion just a little bit, right? You might get if we're playing D&D, you might get a plus 7% corrosion resistance. I don't actually know. The edge here, the spine is knocked down, right? So that's nice, unless you plan to strike flint off of it, in which case it won't work as well. The edge comes down to a pretty darn thin edge. This will be great for slicing. It'll be great for poking. Be great for doing general EDC stuff. Very good. A little sharpening choil there. Edges of the triangle have also been knocked down. I think that's generally just a product of the media knocking all those sharp edges down. The jimping's okay. It should have extended out to about where that triangle ends, because that's the position of where my thumb lands to properly complement the index finger position, right? In most cases, when you're choking up, you'll probably be holding it like this. But on the rare occasion where I would want to brace with my thumb, I kind of would like the jimping to come out to right about where that starts to taper to accommodate for the swedge. So, designer's logo, we should probably take a look at that right there. So I hope did I get his name correct? Gosh, thinking back, I hope I did. Well, we'll find out when I edit it. The micarta looks good. I'm sure they call this like a natural, or it looks kind of like a gray micarta to me. It's fine. I would hope that they would offer additional colors, but maybe they don't. If they don't, it looks good like this. No big deal. The pocket clip I think is great. It's a little bit nubby right here. So I want that ramp. There needs to be enough ramp to where when you push it into your pocket, the pocket clip automatically lifts to rise over the pocket seam. When we have a wall here, we just sort of mash, and then you have to you have to hold your pocket, and you have to dick with this to get it in there. So I wish that it had a little more ramp, but it's okay the way that it is. Retention's fine. Carry depth is also fine. Steel lock bar insert that doubles as the over travel stop, which is great. It's par for the course. We have a stop pin that's attached to the blade, riding on channels carved out on either side of the titanium frame, which is also great. It's an additional point of contact over the traditional stop pin, which is just a single point of contact, just the blade tang meeting the single stop pin. So you have two pins. It's also nice. Extra rigid solidity and lockout while maintaining very smooth action, this is a great example of that. It's extremely solid. No blade play up, down, left, or right. No lock stick to speak of. No pivot lash. Unbelievably smooth in here. And what is different about this versus other Kizers? I mean, seriously. That's really nice, guys. Detent is very satisfying. Nice click. Perfect centering. Absolutely. And no detent lash. All right. For those of you who didn't immediately go look at the price tag, which I'm sure most of you did, if you're still hanging out. What's the price? This thing's $159. Yeah, this is extreme. Are you kidding me? This is extremely recommendable. This is one of those rare knives that lands in this really weird territory. Like the sub $200 territory, like 100 to 200, it's so hard to pin down, because most of the time I look at this territory and I go, you should either spend substantially less money or substantially more money, because this territory is so blah. There's just not a lot to appreciate in this territory, save for like the Ritter Hogue and a few other knives, right? This is excellent. At $159, this is extremely recommendable. This is a fantastic price. Another good knife that comes to mind in this territory is the Maxace Black Mirror, but knives like that, my point is, they're very, very celebrated because this is such a weird territory where you often get things that just don't feel that much better than the budget territory, right? But spending $50 to $100 more grants you so much more, right? So yeah, this great. If you're looking for a knife in this territory, if this is your budget and you're looking for a good EDC knife and you're not left-handed, that is a bummer. This is so well designed and so well executed by Kizer, and it looks good. Everything about it just works, man. I'm a huge fan of this, and I really feel like it is an underassuming knife. If you look at this, you're gonna think, I've seen a million things like this, but really, I feel like this is well designed and it works. I like it. I'll remember this one. That's going to be pretty much it, guys. Thank you so much for watching. Please check this knife out down in the description. It will be linked down there. Thanks again to Kizer for sending this in. Please make sure to follow me on Instagram at metal_complex. If you enjoyed this video, leave a like. If you'd like to check out my other content, I do, of course, have lots of videos of knives that are either expensive or inexpensive that I do or don't like. So check those out. And if you enjoy all my content, go ahead and click on that Metal Complex logo right there and subscribe because there's definitely more coming. Thanks again for watching, everybody, and have a great day.